Today we're on the Ovation of the Seas. So we start off the video on deck 15 of the Ovation of the Seas. There's a little scene that's right here that's getting ready to play out on the running track that I want you to watch carefully. Right there. You notice that runner basically had to stop running because people were walking on his running track. And that sort of exposes one of the weird features of the Ovation, is the fact that they put the running track all the way up on the upper deck. And the upper deck they put it on, deck 15 here, is the only real upper deck where you can, see what's around you whenever you're on on the cruise and there's something worth looking at. So it's right around 4 o'clock, and the celebrity Solstice over there is apparently leaving before us. So not really sure how they determine the order, but you hear from the horns over there that they're getting ready to pull out. And I noticed that when they were ready to leave, they hit their horn quite a few times. Usually, like in ports, whenever we've been on other cruise ships, down in the Florida ports, they don't usually have to hit the horn that many times, but this area in Seattle, this is a pretty big port area, and I guess they do it because they want to let all the ships know that they're pulling out and everything. But back to the idea of the running track for a minute. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this layout here, having the running track on the only upper deck, that's available to the ship. We're used to the Oasis class, and the Oasis class, I believe, has the running track down on like deck 5. And it's a great setup because you have a perfect oval track that's like, if you make an entire lap around the ship, it's like a mile or something, like just over a mile, and it's just the perfect running track. And it's down on the lower deck, and it's out of the way, and you're less likely to have somebody walking in the middle of your track when you're trying to run. So, I don't know, I thought this was kind of a weird feature of the Ovation. That, plus you see all these glass panels down here along the sides. Those panels really got on my nerves because you have such a perfect, if they weren't in the way, let's put it that way, you would have such a perfect unobstructed view to, whatever's around you, especially like later on in the cruise when we're up, around the glaciers and all that and all the scenery and everything, and you're wanting to take pictures and video and everything, and these glass panels right here are just constantly in your way. Now, there's ways to work around them. You see right here, I'm having to kind of work the camera in between two of the panels and so on. But I don't know. I never really could figure out what the reasoning was for those panels, sticking up like that. So if anybody's aware of what those are for, let me know in the comments. Interesting area. I'm not sure what that is. Might be the sports complex. Oh yeah, it's the sports complex. I don't know. Could be. That's all the sports stuff. If you are enjoying the video so far, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell icon so you're notified whenever a new video is posted. looks like it's just floating. So right here we get a good view of the Celebrity Solstice pulling out there. You see kind of over in the background on the other side of the port area, the bay or whatever this is in Seattle, that's actually Mount Rainier in the background over there. On the very far left of your screen, there you go, you see it all the way in the background. You see the top of the mountain kind of poking through the clouds. And it's way back there, but that was really cool to see that. So I'm trying at one point to zoom the video camera in, but this camcorder is such that like once you zoom it all the way in, like the slightest little bump and it's just bouncing all over the place, and it was very bright out there, so it was really hard to kind of focus on what you were looking at. So I tried to zoom in, but I ended up not really being able to use that footage. So but that's Mount Rainier kind of in the background. So the Celebrity Solstice, this is on day one on Friday. And as it turns out, the Solstice, we would not see them again until we got to Victoria, British Columbia. But what was really interesting about that was when they pulled into port in British Columbia and Victoria, they pulled in like the middle of the afternoon. And then we saw them again back here in Seattle the very next morning. So it was kind of like they got to stop at Victoria, British Columbia, like towards the tail end of their cruise for a very brief stay. And then they would have had to have, pulled out of port to go back to Seattle to be there for the next morning like we were. So I found that very odd. I don't know if something happened during their cruise and they were late arriving to British Columbia or not, but that would we would see them later on. So they got to leave before us. Here we are taking a look at downtown Seattle. And after our cruise, we stayed in Seattle for one extra day. And we were actually supposed to stay there for a couple of extra days, but being in Florida, you have the constant threat of hurricanes in the middle of the summer, and this was August. So August and September are the two worst months for hurricanes in Florida. And sure enough, there was a hurricane that was headed towards Florida, and we had to cut our vacation short by a couple of days and fly back on a Saturday instead of a Monday. So we only got to spend one day in Seattle, but you see that Space Needle over there. We got a chance to go up there and get some pictures and some video and everything from up on top of the Space Needle. And we got a chance to visit the Pike Place Market. So I'm going to have a lot of video on those locations coming up after the vlog. Those will be kind of in the Seattle vlog section separate from the cruise.
Yeah, we can drop the lines yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and that you gave it a like. To see more content like this, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you're notified whenever a new video is posted.